Built a massive parlay with 32 odds. Let's break it down. First parlay, first turn. Manchester City versus Brentford, and here I found a really interesting angle. Because after the slip-up against Everton, a lot of people started writing City out of the title race way too early. Even though these are exactly the moments when Guardiola's team usually respond with maximum intensity. And if you actually look at that 3-3 draw, City were genuinely poor in terms of game quality. Everton produced 2.72 xG against City's 1.53, and the team looked far too vulnerable defensively. But there is one very important thing. At home, City are still a completely different beast. At the Etihad, they've won 12 out of the 16 league matches, and in 9 of those wins the margin was at least 2 goals. Right now there is no room for mistakes anymore, because Arsenal are back on top, plus City have the worst goal difference, which means Pep's side will be extremely motivated to calmly and confidently take all 3 points. Buddy, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post match analysis every single day and always try to keep my subscribers in profit. And I'm always happy to see fair criticism and your own arguments in the comments, because I genuinely read all of them. Guys, here's my Telegram and my stats. I work as transparently and honestly as possible. I even pay taxes as an individual entrepreneur. I'm one of the few in this space who actually works openly and fairly. The link is in the description below. Now let's talk about Brentford. Yeah, the Bees are still fighting for European spots, and after the 3-0 win over the West Ham, they remain in the race for top 7. But away games are still a serious problem for them. 9 defeats in 17 away matches. And against top clubs, Brentford almost always play very cautiously, because opening up against City is basically suicide. And that's exactly why I'm not expecting some crazy hockey-style scoreline here. The stats support it too. In 15 of City's last 20 Premier League home matches, there were fewer than 4 goals, while Brentford away from home have gone under in 13 of 17. Plus, in the last 2 head-to-head meetings, the Bees didn't score against City at all, and didn't even produce a combined 1 xG. So for me, this is a very pragmatic scenario. City win through quality control and pressure, while Brentford spent most of the match suffering without the ball. That's why my main pick is Manchester City to win in the parlay. And for the crazy parlay, I'm taking City to win plus under 4.5 goals at odds 2. First parlay, second turn. Atlético Madrid versus Celta Vigo. And here I found a really interesting angle, because after getting knocked out of the Champions League, a lot of people may think Atlético mentally checked out for the season. But personally, I think this is exactly the moment when Simeone's team will try to respond in front of their home fans. And I'll start with Atlético, because if you only look at their recent league results, it may seem like the team has seriously declined. 4 defeats in 6 league games definitely looks worrying, but context matters here. For Simeone, La Liga clearly became secondary over the last few weeks, because all focus was on the Champions League and Copa del Rey. Yeah, both campaigns failed, but at home Atlético are still an extremely strong side. 14 wins in 17 matches at the Metropolitano is elite level 4. Plus at home the Metros makers average 2.2 goals per game and create almost 1.9 xG per match, meaning the chances are consistently there in large numbers. And what's especially important is that after painful eliminations like this, Simeone teams very often come out extremely fired up at home. Now let's move to Celta, because things aren't simple there either. Yeah, the Galicians are back in the fight for Europe and look dangerous away from home. In terms of away points, they are trail on the Real Madrid and Barcelona, while averaging 1.3 goals per away match. And most importantly, Giraldo's team are not afraid to attack even against top clubs. That's why I'm not expecting a defensive game at all here, especially considering Atlético's defense look unstable right now. 12 goals conceded in their last 6 league matches speaks for itself, but at the same time, Celta historically struggled badly at the Metropolitano. Their last win there came over 10 years ago, and Atlético have won 7 of the last 9 league meetings. And personally, I think the class difference and home field advantage should matter again here. Yeah, Celta will probably get their chance because Atlético make too many mistakes defensively right now, but at home, Atlético's attack still looks much stronger and more reliable. So my main pick is Atlético draw no bet in the parlay because Simeone's team at home simply shouldn't lose to this version of Celta. And for the crazy parlay, I am taking Atlético to win plus under 4.5 goals at 2.6. Second parlay first event, Lazio versus Inter, and here I found a really interesting angle, because a lot of people might look at the table and decide this match means nothing anymore, which would suggest both teams come out without emotion, just finishing the season. But personally, I think these kind of games between top clubs often become open and entertaining, especially when the pressure of results is already minimal. And I'll start with Lazio, because Sarri's team genuinely look more relaxed right now. Yeah, the season has been inconsistent for the Romans and stability was missing almost the entire year. But lately, they've at least started playing more aggressively in attack. Lazio scored 5 goals across their last 2 matches, and even against Cremonese, they kept pushing until the final seconds and grabbed the winner in stoppage time. But Lazio's main issue right now is different. The defense is no longer as reliable as before. They've kept only 1 clean sheet in their last 6 official matches, and mistakes are happening regularly, especially in goalkeeping situations and defensive transitions. And against this current Inter side, that's very dangerous, because Inter's attack is operating almost perfectly right now. Now let's move to Inter, because they've already secured the title, but judging by the football itself, the Nerazzurri are not slowing down at all. 13 points from the last 15 available is genuine champions level 4, and most importantly, Inter continue playing their football regardless of the match context. Chivo's team moved the ball brilliantly, used the wings perfectly, dominate through set pieces and pressing. Plus, after Lautaro's return, the attack became even more dangerous. Even coming off the bench against Parma, he immediately delivered an assist. And because of that attacking quality, Inter currently looks stronger than Lazio, especially considering the Romans haven't looked particularly convincing at home lately, while empty stands at the Olimpico will not create the usual pressure on opponents. But at the same time, I'm definitely not expecting a defensive game here. Lazio are playing with more freedom now, without major pressure, while Inter no longer need to dive for results after winning the Scudetto. And these conditions often create open matches with chances for both teams, especially since Inter have exchanged goals in 6 of their last 8 matches, while Lazio continue creating chances regularly at home. That's why my main pick is over 2 goals in the parlay, because at least 2 goals here looks like a very realistic scenario. And for the crazy parlay, I'm taking 1-2 plus BTTS yes at 2.6. Second parlay and second event, Wolfsburg versus Bayern Munich, and here I found a really interesting angle, because a lot of people think Bayern could mentally collapse after getting knocked out of the Champions League and start casually playing out of the rest of the season. But personally, I think this is exactly the type of game where Bayern will try to unleash all their frustration on the next opponent. And I'll start with Wolfsburg, because results-wise, the Wolves have definitely shown signs of life recently. 3 matches unbeaten helped them move out of the automatic relegation zone, and the win over Union Berlin, with psychologically huge because for the first time in a long while the team not only scored first, but also held onto the lead. But if you look deeper, Wolfsburg's football quality still remains very average. Yeah, against Borussia Mönchengladbach they probably deserved to win, but against Freiburg and Union, they were honestly riding their luck at times. And the problem is that now they are facing a completely different level of opponent. Plus, Wolfsburg's stats against top teams are awful. At home they've lost to every club from the top half of the table. Now let's move to Bayern, because after the elimination against PSG, the motivation will be insane. Yeah, emotionally it's a massive blow, especially after those crazy semifinals, where the team combined for 10 goals across 2 matches. But even after securing the title early, Bayern never stopped attacking and chasing records. The team already scored 116 goals this season and clearly want to push historic numbers even further. Even against Mainz and Heidenheim, where there was rotation and no tournament motivation, Bayern still kept attacking until the final seconds. And that's extremely important, because Bayern are not playing casually right now. Yeah, the defense keeps making mistakes, the team conceded in 8 of their last 10 league matches. But offensively, they continue destroying opponents almost every game, and Bayern become especially dangerous after halftime. 39 of their 53 away league goals came in the second half, And this is exactly where Wolfsburg could face huge problems, because they simply don't know how to survive against an attack like this for 19 minutes. But at the same time, I absolutely don't believe in a clean sheet by Ennui. Their defense is too unstable right now, plus rotation affect things as well. And under Keking, Wolfsburg at home has started playing more bravely and aggressively, especially since they generally need points in the relegation battle. That's why my main pick is Wolfsburg team total over 1 in the parlay. And for the crazy parlay, I am taking Bayern to win plus BTDSES at 2.4.